We are so back in 2016.
We're the sauce on your steak. We're the cheese in your cake. We put the spring in Springfield.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets in Springfield.
Let's do it.
This is an ABC News special. The most consequential moment of this campaign. Kamala Harris.
Together, we will chart a new way forward.
Donald Trump.
We will soon be a great nation again.
Face to face. Historic.
Millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening.
Dude, he
you see what's
immediately
happening with
hit the
towns
immigrant
throughout
button.
the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently.
He still thinks that asylum for immigrants means insane asylum. Yes, I'm convinced at this point. Two things. He thought the Iran nuclear deal was to give Iran nukes. And two, he thinks that asylum seekers are people who were let out of insane asylums and not seeking asylum from the shit that we start in their countries. Do you think it's worth the political gamble to credit Trump with Project Warp Speed to keep up his association with the vaccine to cue weirdos? Yes, I absolutely do.
If Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
That was also a really good point there. Like Tim Walz, that's a Tim Walz beat right there of the government is getting between you and your doctor. Americans hate the government. They hate the state more than anything else. So tying it to this is a big government like agenda. That's good. You know, points on the board for Kamala for that one.
I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting.
This is an impossible position for Trump to be in. His party, his base, wants a national abortion, right? His most loyal part of his base. They want a national abortion ban. Talking evangelicals, fundamentalist Christians, right? Reactionaries. They want a national abortion ban. That's what the party wants, right? But he can't just say, I'm not going to do a national abortion ban. Him saying that right now is bad for him.
Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50.
That right there, that's bad. That's what I'm talking about. Because now the Democrats have a position. He just gave them what everyone's been telling them. Flip the fucking House, flip the Senate, or get a solid majority in the Senate. Just get a simple majority. Now there's a talking point. Donald Trump says we can't, secure abortion unless we secure the House. He's right. Let's do it. This is great.
You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first, and I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris.
It's great. That's great. That's great. Because that's like direct. That's a direct jab, right? Everything else leading into this was just like tiny little pokes. He's a liar. He's full of shit. 2025 wants to ban abortion, but that doesn't make him mad. This makes him mad, which is great. You want him to ramble and be an insane person. That way, whenever they say, how do you respond to the allegation that you were actually, a Marxist transing migrant prisoners who were eating cats, you just go, I can't argue with someone's demons, okay? You got to figure that out for yourself.
And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. what they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield.
Chat,
a
someone
lot of
save the hype
towns don't
train.
want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
I said this last night, chat, but like this right here is showing the entire country why they don't talk to their relative anymore. This right here underscored for millions of people, and as this clip makes the rounds, will remind people why they're not talking to their uncle or their granddad or their mom anymore. This is the same level of brain rot. Like, people saw this and they saw their brain broken relative and they're like, fuck, dude, I hate this guy.
Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier, so let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S. military.
Police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number.
Yes, that's the question. That's the question. How do you deport 20 million people, as you say?
It is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah, it is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers to come into our country, and they're now in the United States and told
to come in
by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and...
He just described valid asylum-seeking claims as why they shouldn't be allowed to come into the country. They say if you come back, we'll kill you. That's an asylum claim. That should be expedited. Like, that's valid. Here's your fucking green card. Brace yourselves, chat.
Held Americans among them. Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead, nearly 100 hostages
dead
remain.
Not killed, dead.
Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis, many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children, mothers. What we know is that this war must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that. Work around the clock, also understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution. And in that solution, there must be...
How are you going to do that when the Knesset just passed a law saying they will not allow a two-state solution? How are you going to do that? The Israeli embargo we're looking for, but it's the right thing to say to average voters? No, it's not. Lying to the average voter is not the correct move. No, it's not. 77% of likely Democratic Party voters, likely, say that they will absolutely vote for a candidate that says they will do conditional aid to Israel on the condition of stopping the genocide. Only 7% say that they will not vote for Kamala Harris if she withholds arms to Israel. It's over 74% of all Americans, Republican, Independent, unaffiliated, and Democrat voters that say they want a embargo. It's wrong. It's wrong to lie to the American people and say that this started on October 7th and that mass rapes happened and that Israel has a right to defend itself. That is a lie.